what about veggies? You wrote that Chef Hugo that you worked with, the co-founder of the kitchen with, taught you the power of a good vegetable.
Yeah.
What's the power of a good vegetable?
So I've trained in New York, right, as a French chef, but it wasn't very much ingredients focused. It wasn't very much sourcing focused. He came from the River Cafe in London, which was one of the OGs of the farm to table, and still going strong today. And he taught me the value of getting to know farmers and getting to know vegetables from that farm versus vegetables from that farm. And they're actually different. The soil's a little different. The way they grow it, a little different. It's the opposite of the industrial machine where everything needs to look exactly the same. And sometimes you'll get carrots that are kind of ugly and deformed, but they're much sweeter than the carrots you'd get for other purposes. So you'd make a carrot puree out of that, and then you take carrots that are more typical in shape and size. You might roast them for dinner. So it's the appreciation for vegetables in general. I probably would say carrots is my favorite, just because that was an example of one where I've really had to learn how to use the different types of carrots that come from all of our farms, and it's fun. It's a fun ingredient. If you just went to the Whole Foods or just went to a grocery store and you just got exactly the same carrot every time, less fun. Mm-hmm. But go to a farmer's market and see what you get, and you'll see they're quite different.
Yeah, carrot for me is probably number one. I have rigorous, detailed rankings for fruit and veggies.
That's amazing.
That we'll get into it. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I am the kind of person that would have like a spreadsheet for that.
That's great.
But I'm mostly just making fun of myself. But I do love carrots. I wish they weren't so full of carbs, but
yeah, I'm just not anti-carbs. I think
anti-carb. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they play a role. I have a great friend who's an amazing doctor, and he did some tests for me and everything, and it turns out I have a gluten allergy. And I was like, okay, so what that means is I shouldn't eat gluten. It's like, yeah. It's like, okay, but I also have hay fever, and that means I should not go out into nature. Mm-hmm. So I was like, nah, I think I'm going to go out into nature, and maybe what I'll do on bread and pasta is or I like the true carbs, I'll just have it when it's really good, mm-hmm. because when it's really good, it's really good, and you don't want to miss that. Most of the time, okay, fine, there's some crummy bread, whatever, like I can skip that part. But I find all of these diets are like, no, none of this, or super this, super that. I wonder if they're just like people are just looking for something to hang on to. But these diets have been around forever, and if they work, then we would know that.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems with diets is it adds stress when you do have that perfect bowl of pasta. If you have categorized yourself as a low carb eating person, you might be very stressed about enjoying this thing when you should just let go.
Let go. This is your cheat day or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've heard that. And actually, I have friends who do that, their cheat day. And I say to them, I'm only going to hang out with you on your cheat day because that's when you're actually fun.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like, for me, there's things that make me feel really good, but they're not rules. They're not, they're like go-to favorites. Speaking like in terms of diet and so on. For example, I've mostly been eating once a day.
Oh wow!
For the longest time, but that's not a rule. Okay. Like it's completely flexible, and I've mostly been eating very low carb.
Yeah, but you must be eating a lot of food in that one meal.
Yeah, it's not because it's usually a very sort of meat heavy. It's not like portions are not that big.
But your body needs food.
Yeah, body needs food. So you're talking about like 2,000 calories. What you find out is like that dinner is like the most social time of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I have kids in the morning, so if you have kids, it's for sure a morning experience, but if you don't, then you're right.
Yeah. But like you said, I deviate. I'm more afraid of missing the perfect dessert, the perfect breakfast, the perfect bowl of pasta, pizza, all that kind of stuff. Right. And I don't think of it as a cheat day. I think it's
well, if you're only eating one meal a day, you can eat whatever you like.
But like I want to make clear that it's not one meal a day always, and I'm like this very strict thing. Right. It's you always have to be open to the experience, to the new experience. Otherwise, you do miss out. Just like you said, hay fever. Like, I think if you want to be really safe, you should never leave your home.
Yes, just wrap. We learned during COVID, if you wrap yourself in cotton wool in your basement,
Yes.
you're not going to die from COVID. You might die from a lot of other things of just pure misery.
Yeah. Well, you might live forever. In that.
Right? We don't know.
But it certainly doesn't maximize the joy of whatever makes life worth living. It doesn't maximize that.
Yeah, exactly.